This episode of the Boss Rush Podcast is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn more about Boss Rush Media's family of podcasts, head on over to bossrushmedia.com or patreon.com/bossrushmedia. Thanks for your continued support. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Derrigan. Alongside me, as always, is the PC muscle race himself, LaRon Dawkins.
Hey, what's poppin'?
Hi, LaRon.
What's up, Corey?
It's good to see you.
Yeah, man, it's good to see you. It's good to see all of y'all.
No sleeves today.
Yeah.
Good job, LaRon.
Yeah.
You paid attention.
Had to give people what they want as we go into Halloween.
It's true. It's true. Also joining us is the mad pharmacist herself, Stephanie Klimov.
Oh man, I should have worn my Halloween costume for this recording.
Maybe this is going out the day before Halloween.
Aw man, darn it.
No costume for me.
Lame.
Oh well. Speaking of no costume, PK Power Pat Klein is here.
That's right. And
you got a haircut.
I'm going as Corey. I'm going as Corey for Halloween. What do you think? Huh?
Smooth as a baby's bottom.
Nah, it's actually kind of fuzzy up here.
Okay.
I have no hair.
You said kind of fuzzy.
Fuzzy like peach fuzz.
Yep.
Every time I hear the word fuzzy, I think of Fuzzy Wuzzy. Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair.
He had no hair.
Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't really Fuzzy Wuzzy.
Really, you would think of that. You have two like preschool age children in your house.
Well, unfortunately, I was familiar with Fuzzy Wuzzy, but unfortunately, nowadays when I hear Fuzzy Wuzzy, I think of Huggy Wuggy, and I hate Huggy Wuggy.
What is Huggy Wuggy?
Yeah.
This is
Isn't he the terrifying serial killing mascot?
Yes, and I hate it. Yes, and for some reason, my partner's 6-year-old child is obsessed with him. I'm like, you're a freak. Just look up Huggy Wuggy. He looks terrifying.
Speaking of terrifying, who's going to see the Five Nights at Freddy movie?
Maybe not opening night, but I definitely want to see it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
Didn't they say it's only PG-13?
Well, yeah, because they want the kids.
It's a thriller. PG-13. Thrillers can be PG-13 movies.
Yeah, it's not going to be no Saw 10. But
it's not going to be Wally's Wonderworld or whatever the Nick Cage version was. Where Nick Cage is a janitor and he goes into this, or he's hired for this.
Wally something?
Yeah, I thought it was like Wally's Wonderworld, Wonderland.
Something like that. Yeah.
It must be PG-13. It must be PG-13 so people could take their kids to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't stop them from taking their kids to see R-rated movies. Right,
but that was their intent, because then they'll be like, for those that maybe are too young to have known Five Nights at Freddy's until now they can be like, oh man, I saw Five Nights at Freddy's, and now there's Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, or whatever the newest one was. We'll see. I mean,
sorry, I didn't know about Five Nights. I didn't know anything about Five Nights at Freddy's the game until a friend's kid told me about it.
That's crazy.
That is an overnight success.
Yeah, and then and it was funny because then I looked it up and that's how I discovered Markiplier. Yeah, which Five Nights at Freddy's is the gift that keeps on giving.
It sure is, man.
Yay.
Especially to the owners.
Yeah. You know they're making a Vampire Survivors TV show? I'm like, how are you going to make a show?
I heard about that. How are you going to make a TV show off of a game that, you know what? I'm not going to talk shit about the game because the game is actually really good. But
the game is so fun.
Yeah, but how are you going to make a TV show off of that?
Bright flashing lights enough to give every single person epilepsy.
Is it me? Because I know we've always had video game movies and shows come out once in a while, and it's usually terrible. But is it me, or is all of a sudden everything gaming turning into a movie or a show now? I just feel like it's a lot more common.
BioShock's supposed to come out next year.
Ooh.
There's a Gears
Fallout.
of War movie in development for Netflix. Man,
Yeah,
I would kill to see
I think it
that
has
movie.
I think it has something to do with the very warm reception that the Uncharted movie got, which I don't understand how is that warm of a reception.
I loved it. I thought it was awesome.
It was okay.
I enjoyed the movie. I didn't. I'm not gonna say I loved it. I enjoyed the movie. Like, you know, I don't like that they gave Nolan North like such a bit part cameo.
I thought the cameo was pretty good. He's just kind of hanging out.
That's Hollywood
Nah, it was
for
weak.
you. First,
It was
they
weak.
took movie ideas from books, and now they're taking movie ideas from video games because they're lazy.
I mean, I feel like Castlevania was the big successor in that one. Like most video game to whatever adaptations tended to fail, but Castlevania was like freaking awesome. And then you got
Castlevania is
things
good,
like
yes.
the Sonic movie, Detective Pikachu, and now The Last of Us, of course. Like,
Yeah.
there's potential in them if it's done right. It's a
Yeah.
whole new audience.
Well, no, I think I was just saying like the first one that kind of like broke the monotony was Uncharted, because like Uncharted did something that Tomb Raider hadn't been able to do. It did something that Resident Evil hadn't been able to do, and Resident Evil had 6 movies before that Welcome to Raccoon City shite came out.
And it's been 6 minutes and 38 seconds into recording, and I've already finished my Red Bull, and I'm very upset.
Hey, you have a problem.
Well, I mean, we're supposed to start recording at 8:30. It's been like 25 minutes. One Red Bull in 25 minutes is fine, right?
Uh-oh.
No. Need to have at least 3 in that time span.
Okay.
Your kidneys are gonna love you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or somebody else's kid is gonna love you later.
Speaking of adaptations, though, like, has anyone heard about the Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix?
No.
I've heard of it, yeah.
Yeah, like I was like, what is this? You know, and then I was looking at some screen caps, and I was like, holy crap, that is Rayman.
Yeah. It's also a Far Cry series.
Yeah,
Rayman's
that's what
the
I thought.
villain.
I thought it was continuing like the what was it, Blood Dragon?
Yeah, Blood Dragon was the original.
Okay, yeah.
Where you had I forget his name. I think it's Michael Bynes, the guy who was like a big action star for like Aliens.
Oh, Hicks. Hicks from Aliens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the main character.
Well,
I may give it a look-see.
Well, speaking of look-see, what games has everybody been look-seeing this week?
Yo! Hold on. First of all, how bad has Broketober been for everybody's wallets?
I
Super
haven't bought
wicked
any
broke.
games.
I don't notice.
Yo, last week was insane.
It was.
I want to say that's had to be the heaviest week we've had since like what, the beginning of February.
I don't know, man. There's so many games coming out all the time. I mean, this was probably the week with like the most notable games coming out at the same time. You know what it is, though? It's super ballsy, A, for Nintendo to put Mario out the same day as Spider-Man, and B, Sony putting Spider-Man out the same day as Mario.
Oh yeah.
What a ballsy move to put those two up against each other. And both of them know that
those two Japanese companies want to have a really bad pissing contest.
Well, Spider-Man won, I guess, so far. Seriously, it sold 2.5 million copies in one day. So,
yeah, I had a feeling that between the two, Spider-Man 4, at least initially, we'll see in the long run, but I would think that Spider-Man 2 would sell well short term and even, I don't know, maybe long term. We'll see. Where was I going with my
I think these
prediction?
games are going to be battling throughout the holidays because you've got holiday season. Mario Wonder is going to be an attached game for the Switch, and Spider-Man's going to be an attached game for the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. I mean, regardless, it's more like we all know Spider-Man 2 is going to be a great success, not only because it's by a great developer, great game, and also just even not more casual gamers are familiar with Spider-Man. I mean, granted, Mario is kind of no stranger either, but I don't know. I feel like Nintendo is definitely not shot. they're not shy from kind of putting stuff out there, and I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I think what you said initially, looking at the long run, I feel like Nintendo, a Mario game's going to sell like over periods of time, where a Spider-Man game's probably going to end up having to be discounted to continue to sell a year later.
Good point.
Yeah.
Mario is a game that you typically buy as a Christmas gift for your loved ones and your family, where Spider-Man 2 is probably not quite at that level.
Hold on. I'm glad you said that,
Spider-Man 2 is the one that you buy for yourself.
Because it makes me wonder that one Nintendo Switch that Nintendo Wii U that sold last week. Did somebody dupe somebody's grandma into buying a Wii U when she was trying to get like a little Timmy like the new system to get the next Mario game? Do you think that's what happened?
I would actually argue that somebody probably found it and said, I'm going to put this back and sell it in 15 years when everybody wants a Wii U. Because that's what happened to GameCube.
No, I doubt that. I doubt that. You're giving it too much credit.
I'm just saying, man, Nintendo consoles do weird things. Virtual Boy costs like $500 these days.
That's
and that
crazy.
that console had 12 games and was out of the market in 6 months. So...
But no, I think this. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say. Also, that happened to the GameCube. So,
I just feel that this has been a broke year. This is the brokest of broke I've ever been this year. When it comes to video game stuff, anyway.
Oh yeah, and I bought a whole new video. I bought a whole video game system. I bought a ROG Ally.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many games I've skipped this year just because it costs too much money. Most of them. So I haven't even bought Spider-Man 2 or Mario Wonder or Sonic Superstars yet.
Well, I can tell you which one you can.
I'm not getting Sonic Superstars. If I get Sonic Superstars, it'll be at a deep discount.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm thinking too. But I mean Mario is something I've been looking forward to all year and I haven't gotten it yet. And then
I'm surprised you haven't gotten it yet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, I don't know what I'm doing with it. I'm trying to wait a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
Well, don't wait too long on the Spider-Man. You got a book club on that one.
I know. I'm going to get Spider-Man after I beat the other two.
I'll admit, and this was only because of that said hospital bill I texted you guys about. I cringed a little when I pre-ordered Alan Wake 2 tonight. I'm like, on any other given time of my life that's not book club related, I would at least waited if this was to see when this became a sale. Like this is not generally a game I'd buy day one, or in this case, I might as well pre-order it because then I get a couple of stupid pre-order bonuses. But
is this a book club game?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Not to say I would never play Alan Wake 2. It's just pre-podcasting, I would have very few day one purchases, and the majority of my purchases are months later on discounts. I don't think I've ever spent so much money on day one purchases in my life and compared to the last 2 years. I mean, that's my own fault. I have a choice. No one's forcing me to. But
yeah, as big a fan as I am of Alan Wake, I'm waiting on part 2.
Interesting.
Just for now. Also, I kind of want to see because the specs for the PC end are a little wonky in my opinion. They're asking for people to have a 40 series graphics card to be able to play it on medium settings, and I'm like, what?
Isn't that the story with all PC games though nowadays?
No. For the longest time, well, until Cyberpunk showed up, for the longest time, a 10 series graphics card could have done you good. Cyberpunk came along, and people had to take a step up to the 30 series, but the 20 series graphics cards. I'm talking about on the Nvidia side because I don't have time to talk about AMD's graphics cards. But basically, most people were able to coast on 20 series.
Well, I'm curious about how Alan Wake is going to do because the Golden Joystick Awards nominations are already out, and Alan Wake is a Game of the Year contender. Well as yeah,
it's not even out yet.
I know that's kind of makes me a little curious. Like if it's a Game of the Year contender, it can't be that bad.
God.
I mean, reading kind of how this game is supposed to be, it does seem like it's definitely stepped up from the first game. But yeah, I guess we won't know till the 27th, right?
Mm-hmm. Hopefully the review embargo is normally these things are like 2 days out. I'm gonna check that. Wake 2 embargo.
Well, I hope people
Yep,
who
they're coming
are
out
looking forward to
tomorrow.
Alan Wake like the game. By the way, I'm
9
looking
a.m.
at
Eastern.
side tangent. I'm looking at Zencaster. It looks like the interface has changed again. I don't know.
Yeah, it has.
Oh man. Anyways, what were we talking about? Oh,
What we've been
games.
playing.
Playing games. I'm gonna go first because I don't have a lot to say. So, I am about halfway through the Spider-Man DLC. It's okay. I think Black Cat is a really hard character to get right. I think she's interesting in this game, but I don't know. I still feel like there's some things going on that I wish were a little bit different. But I don't know. It's fine. I just some people are saying that the DLC plays into the new game, and I'm like, okay, well,
Yes, it does.
I should definitely beat it then. And then I'll move on to Miles Morales. But I've also been playing Parkitect, a PC game, everybody.
Wow.
It's so it came out in 2018, but I just downloaded it on a whim because it's available for Mac through Steam, and it's by the people who left Frontier after Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, and it's basically everything I wanted Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 to be, but it's not Roller Coaster Tycoon. But it's essentially the same, like, the same concept. Simple park building sim, park management sim. I think Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, it got really complicated. And then Planet Coaster, while I enjoyed it, was way too overly complicated. And this is kind of like the right amount of complication that I enjoy. Although the buttons are kind of weird. You can't do everything with the mouse like you could in the old game. You have to actually use a keyboard, and I don't like that. But I'll figure it out eventually. So that's kind of all I've been playing. Stephanie, what are you playing?
Ooh, I've been playing a few games. I'll talk in depth for maybe two of them.
She's
And
muted herself.
no, it's because my
She's
son
back.
keeps asking me for water, and he can't use his eyeballs to look for it. So I ran through a few of them. Like One Night Stand is a really short indie title. Came out, I believe, a couple years ago. You wake up from a wild night of drinking, I guess, in a stranger's bed, a woman's bed, and you hold on. Sorry, I don't know why. Anyway, and there's like several different outcomes, so it's kind of fun, right? But I did get a little bit tired of it because it seemed a bit challenging to get to the first 4 or 5 different outcomes to obtain were easy, but then to tease out the rest, I'm like trying to figure out what is the one thing that I'm missing to get to that different ending. Not a bad game. Like, I love the art style, and if you want something like quick and wicked, One Night Stand is an interesting premise. I maybe I'll just gloss over Super Mario Brothers Wonder because Pat, you played it too, and we can talk about it together when you get to it. So I've been playing that. Although I will say that my son is playing Super Mario Wonder way more than me. I finally got my Analog Pocket up and running with save states, so I am playing Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, and
Yay!
it's fun, but dang, it's a big reminder of how when I say hard games are nowadays, it's just the fact that, back then you die and you start right at the beginning. you know, stuff like that. That's not necessarily bad, but we kind of get a little bit of a nice cush life with gaming now, where things like autosave and I don't know other things. So if anything, I got frustrated just because of how used to modern gaming is, but I'm enjoying it. It's such a delightful game, like the Goemon series. I just wish it made a bigger splash in America, but so
It's Konami though, right?
yeah, Konami. So
That's why.
yeah, so that's pleasant. I'm really enjoying the Analog Pocket. It's really great. I love it a lot. Brings back good feels. So now we're getting to kind of two-ish games that I'm going to talk about a little bit more in depth. I'm playing through World of Horror, which recently came out. It's also on PC, like Steam. It's going to release on consoles soon. I think it's going to be on Switch soon.
Yeah. It's. I think it's this week. I
It,
thought.
yeah, and it caught my eye, the art style. I think I saw it at the publisher's booth at PAX East, but I couldn't make it there. But essentially, it is a 1 or 2 bit, so retro art horror RPG. It's very Lovecraftian, and if anyone's a big manga fan, it's a lot of artistic inspiration from Junji Ito. Uh, it's pretty cool. I'm still getting used to how cramped the UI looks, and I think with Steam Deck, it bleeds over. I don't know the screen, so I need to play around with the settings to get it to not stretch past because I can't read everything sometimes. But overall, I like this take on a scary game. The RPG elements are a lot of fun. Um, it's very modular. You can just play a quick sample of one mystery to solve, or you can do a full playthrough where you play as a character, and I guess like the world is coming to an end, and you got to investigate like a handful of anomalies, which are either like made up monsters or like folklore, like Japanese folklore monsters, and you investigate different parts of town. You have randomized events, um, and you battle monsters, and like the art of the monsters. So the part that's not in pixel art. Fun fact was drawn in MS Paint. It's pretty cool, and some of the images are very disturbing, and I love it. The again the challenges is that the screen is very cramped. There's just text everywhere. Um, the battles, when they're longer, can get a bit repetitive. I'm still kind of getting used to it. I don't think I'm battling the most efficiently. It I think the game could do a better job training you, but for the most part, I liked it. I'm writing a review that will go up on Sunday. So, and also the music, just so creepy. It's definitely got a lot of character. Also, fun fact: the developer, the person that made this game like on the side when as and their full time profession's a dentist. They're just like, hey, I want to make a game on the side. So like that gives me hope. So pretty decent game. Like I said, there's a lot to it that maybe either could be fleshed out or better, uh, offer some sort of better training or something on it. But if you like RPG and horror and that art style, and you're very patient, I would say it's worth giving a try. I think it's on sale on Steam right now as well. So
Would you say the game is challenging? Like, I look at it and I feel like there's a lot of choices you can make, and there's almost like a randomness to it.
yes, it is. I did find it's almost like a roll the dice. You have like a successful roll and a non-successful roll. So part of it is kind of random. There are things you could do to boost certain stats, like your stamina and stuff like that. There is a methodology to your fights. Like there's offensive, defensive, and like spiritual attacks. So I do believe there's a level of complexity that makes it challenging, but until you kind of fully understand it and have that trial and error, like for someone like me at this stage, because I've only played like an hour or two of it, I'm almost kind of oversimplifying it. I'm just like kick slash. I've read other reviews. They agree that it does allow a level of complexity. It's just that some battles could be, like I said, a little repetitive if you don't have like all the spells and all the weapons, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it appears interesting. It's just it also looks like one of those really in depth, almost to the point where it's like a Baldur's Gate, like
Mhm.
RPG with your choices and the random factor. So yeah.
A little bit. It's like the developer wanted to make it super in depth, which I give them credit for because it makes it feel really fleshed out and cared for. But in order to truly enjoy that, you need to fully understand it. There is like a mini tutorial, but it just wasn't enough for me. And like all the icons are small. And when I think of it coming out in the Nintendo Switch, that's going to be annoying. It works to me much better with a mouse where you can point and click. Because on my Steam Deck, like using the joystick part was a pain. I ended up using like the tactile pads, like you're controlling a mouse, because you're literally just moving your mouse and you're clicking around these tiny little squares. So, yeah. I mean, overall, still pretty solid. And then lastly, Slay the Princess, and I get to talk about it. Oh, what's up, Pat?
Hmm?
Oh, I thought you were raising your finger. So, Slay the
Oh
Princess.
no, I'm cracking knuckles. Sorry.
Pat helped me get a code for this and provide a review. Actually, I got a code for World of Horror as well, so thank you to both teams. Slay the Princess is all that I could ever ask for and more for a horror visual novel. They were at PAX Rising Showcase at PAX East this year. It is all hand illustrated, black and white ink pen, very good music. And when you're done with a true full playthrough, they will give you, because you take different paths, right? They will give you your customized soundtrack by the end, and they give you the list of all the names. So I thought that was very thoughtful. What I love about this choose your adventure visual novel is when they say every decision counts. Holy moly! I got to see. I don't think I saw the same ending twice so far, which I think is a sign of a great choose your own adventure. That's why, like, I didn't want to put it down. The basic premise of Slay the Princess is you are a character in this story. There's a narrator who says, you must go into this cabin. There'll be a princess locked in the basement and you must slay her, which goes against one of the most famous tropes in all storytelling, which is prince must save princess. Here, it's like you must kill princess. And the narrator is super dodgy, won't tell you why, and you have various choices. Many choices are just to obtain information and not necessarily actionable, and others are actionable. For example, when you enter the cabin, you can either immediately descend the stairs or you can grab the blade and descend the stairs. And that triggers how the princess kind of treats you when she first sees you. Either you're coming down not armed, or if she sees you coming down with a knife, she's going to be pretty defensive. So going from there, your character almost plays in a loop, depending on your actions, of course. If you happen to kind of fail, and every time you return in a loop, the inside of the cabin changes slightly based off of how you ended the last loop. So, because at first when I started over in the loop and saw the cabin, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to see the same cabin again and do the same thing. No, you walk in and you're like, whoa, this looks different. And maybe the princess might end up looking a little different. And little by little, it's the typical questions of, and I think Pat maybe you mentioned like Stanley Parable-ish, where it's, is the narrator really reliable? Who's the narrator? What do you follow what the narrator says, or do you do the complete opposite? And little by little, you kind of figure out what's going on, which I will not spoil because this whole point of this game is that it's a very intriguing story. So, with that being said, I really liked Slay the Princess. Abby Howard is a very talented illustrator. The writing is fantastic. So that's a high recommendation from me. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Nice. LaRon, you're up. You're muted.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I was still
Ah.
taking. My bad. I was still taking care of something. Sorry.
Not okay.
Taking care of business.
Duty calls. That's all.
Yeah,
Okay. So all right. So shut up. Shut. You're so immature.
I know.
says the guy who's the lead host for After Dark.
Yeah.
All right. So all
They
right.
know what
So
they're
let's
getting.
see. Exactly. Okay. So it's a slow burn for me on Spider-Man Remastered. Like I am like 89% of the way through, based off of what the save state told me. So like I'm almost done. That way I can get on to Spider-Man 2. And Dead Space Remake, I'm still trudging along on that as well. So you know, but I can tell you that that most of the weekend, I spent playing a lot of Super Mario Brothers Wonder, and you know, like I gotta say, like this is a refreshing game for me because like I feel like the Mario form has gotten so stale for me, and I know like the last couple of weeks I told you every time we saw stuff or we talked about this, I was like, this looks like the most complicated Mario game. I don't know how I feel about this game. Yeah, there's some new mechanics and some new twists and stuff like that, but my God, the game is so fun. Like I will sneak and play a level while I'm at work.
Ooh.
I will play a
LeBron's
level.
boss.
I will play a level on my lunch break. I was playing for an hour and a half before we got on to record tonight. And you know the sad part is like I haven't even done the first Bowser like stage yet. I've been going back and redoing stuff because you know like I'm like, oh, you know what, I can get every single coin in the stage, or you know what, oh, I missed one of those seeds, so I gotta go back and get it, you know, and stuff like that. So I don't know why I'm trying to perfect attack like a Mario game when I should just be trying to beat it. But my God, like there's so much fun stuff going on. Like, and I gotta say, Chunky Boy Mario, the Elephant Mario, I did not know I was gonna like it as much as I do. But oh my God, like the badges with all the stuff you can do, and oh my God, like I'm gushing about this game, and you know that's good because like it's been a while since I've actually gushed about a first party Nintendo title, and this is kind of what they needed. They needed my validation for this stuff, you know, and I'm really glad that you know like this game is like the way it is, like, and you know the level of entry is not too high, so you know like for people who are just used to like just the 3D Mario games, they can jump into this. You know, it's definitely got a better look and feel than all the new Super Mario Brothers games. Like as a matter of fact, those actually looked very boring for me. So it was just one of those situations where like I'm just kind of glad. Like I love the soundtrack, I love the stuff that you can do in the game. You know, there's so much to it, and I thought it was gonna be overwhelming because every time you walk past one of them freaking flowers and they want to say something, I thought that was gonna get on my nerves, but that has yet to like piss me off.
Did you see the mod where somebody modded all the flowers to cuss at you every time you run into one?
That's awesome.
No, I have
Yeah.
not. I have
Yeah.
not seen that.
Nintendo's trying to copyright strike them, but it's pretty funny.
Oh,
if you haven't
God.
heard it. It's pretty funny.
Oh God.
Yeah, they'll just like as you walk by them and be like "fuck you" and like "go fuck yourself" and
Oh man.
stuff like that. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Oh man. Also, okay, so like it's funny because like you know like one of the things I was really intimidated or nervous about was like the whole thing when you get that flower and all of a sudden it changes like you basically wind up in a different dimension basically, right? I thought that was going to be something that was going to be like just batshit, and technically it is batshit, but it's still on the rails. So it doesn't. So it's not like holy fuck, what do you do now? And stuff like that. Somehow like this game has like the magic and the fun factor that like like not just a 2D Mario, but a Mario game is supposed to have.
It's almost like a controlled chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Because like. If you had told me I was going to waste my time listening to a bunch of Piranha Plants sing, I'd have been like, "You've lost your damn mind."
Oh, that level, yeah.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
ridiculous. I like riding on all those like bowls or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
stinky.
that was hilarious. Like I've been doing those challenges too, where like like you have to get things in a certain time frame in order to get a seed or to get the or to get the large coins and stuff like that. My Mario is kind of I'm kind of rusty at Mario, so like I forgot what all this stuff is called. Like those big coins. Like if you get 3 of them, like like you're supposed to get like a bonus or something at the end of it all. So yeah, there's get the game. Like I know I definitely slept on this in our Metacritic, but now I'm like shit. I should have plucked this game during our Metacritic because I know it's sitting somewhere in the 90s right now. Like and right now, it and Spider-Man are battling. In the Metacritic war. But yeah. Get the game. If you have a Switch, get the game. Like that's all I'm gonna say. Get it. Like I'm gonna buy a copy for my boyfriend, and probably gonna get my sister a copy too if she doesn't already have it. Like that's my endorsement. If I'm buying it for other people, that's my endorsement.
Nice. Glowing Nintendo review from Laron.
That's right. You heard it here.
Yeah, that means the Earth is about to get sucked into a black hole.
It's like a comet sighting. It only shows up like every 35 or 40 years or something.
Yeah. So beyond that, I attempted to play City Skylines too. And all I'm going to say is, you know what? I have a funny feeling that that for the City Skylines developers, this is the same thing that happened to CD Projekt Red. They were forced to get the game out when the game wasn't ready because, my God. Like, I'm not saying I have the best gaming system, but I've jumped through a lot of hoops to like be able to play. If I can play Cyberpunk at a steady 60 frames now, with ray tracing and all that stuff, like there is no reason why City Skylines is chugging the way it is and stuff like that. I immediately had to uninstall it, and thank God, because I almost spent the $90 for the big pack because I love city games. I love city building games, stuff like that. I almost spent the money, but I was like, you know what? Let me try this one before I buy this one. So like when I heard Game Pass was getting it, I was like, yeah, let's do this. I installed it. Some places I was getting 13 frames, and I'm building, and this is not even with like a city like actually evolved yet. There's no buildings or whatnot. This is just a landscape with some roads on it. I was like, I'm sorry, this game is not ready yet. So like, if you guys are listening to us or thinking about playing this game, check out the Game Pass version. See if it's worth waiting until they get this shit patched, because either they shot too high, as far as like what they want this game to do, or they just did not have enough time to get it ready.
Well, the console versions were delayed because they played.
Yeah, they've been delayed. I think it's an indefinite delay right now.
Yeah, they said sometime in 2024, but no exact release date.
Yeah.
At least that was the Xbox's explanation.
Yeah, so yeah, that's something to think about, right? Because like, we know for sure this game was built for PC, so if the PC version is having a hard time, the console version was not going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say if you want to play the PC version, I would wait until the console versions come out, because that means that, there'll probably be a few updates out by then and probably be fine. But yeah, that sucks, because that first one was really fun.
And the review embargo is lifted for Ghost Runner 2. Like I have kind of sort of started it, but I haven't done enough substantial because I did not know Super Mario Wonder was going to take up all my time. Like I was going to use the weekend to get Ghost Runner 2 going, and I was like, man, every time I put Super Mario Wonder down, like an hour later, I want to play it again. So yeah, wow, a Nintendo, like a first party Nintendo game has got hooks in me.
It's impressive.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, Laurent, you missed it because you were gone for a few minutes, but I played a PC game,
What'd you play?
Parkitect.
What'd you play?
Parkitect, like it's like Roller Coaster Tycoon 1 and 2, but modern.
Oh, is it any good?
Yeah, it's just like the old Roller Coaster Tycoon games, and it's on sale on Steam right now for $22 for the all the expansions and the main game.
Wee doggy. Okay, hold on.
Like it's just complicated enough to make you do some thinking, but it's not overly complicated like something like Planet Coaster or what was that new?
Yeah, Planet Coaster was too freaking complicated.
Yeah, no, this is this is kind of like isometric, just like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but with modern-ish graphics.
Holy crap!
It's awesome.
Oh, hold on.
You can even build on a grid.
I just started Steam. I need to see. Okay, it's got mixed review. Over 11,000 reviews, and it's got mixed reviews right now. 51% are reviewing as positive.
I like it. I think it's fun.
No, I'm talking. That was City Skylines.
Oh,
I'm sorry. That was City Skylines. My bad. Parkitect. PARKITECT. Holy hell! Yeah, the deluxe edition, $26. Let's go,
dude! It's so fun.
Oh, I need to see one preview. Okay, I'm sold.
That's awesome.
I love these type of games. I'm like, looks like a much more fun time than House Flipper.
House Flipper was amazing.
Stoy's about to reach through the internet and strangle me.
I'm about to reach through the internet and strangle you. That game was fun.
Nobody's strangling anybody.
Mm-hmm. All right, I've said my controversial thing for tonight. I'll shut up now.
Well, Pat.
Yep.
I guess it's your turn.
Yep. So, to no surprise, I've been playing the two big boys that came out this weekend. I will finish up with Super Mario Wonder here. I am almost done with the game, and it is a game that I have been both playing religiously nonstop and literally trying to collect everything for it. So I'm leaving no world without a check mark on the collect everything and get the golden flag and all the seeds and all the 10 coin flower coin. The flower 10 coin, whatever those 3 coins are. And you know what? Let me tell you, there are some really, really tough challenges in the game later on that are completely unnecessary to actually play. Like they purposely put the really tough stuff like in spots where it's like you kind of have to go and like go for it if you really want to get it. Particularly, this game brings back the special world. This is that world that's kind of off of the main map, and it's basically challenge levels of like each area. Like every world in Mario has a gateway to the special world, which gives you a 5-star difficulty challenge. And some of these are like precision platforming maneuvers that even I was starting to get frustrated. But luckily, before the podcast, I did finish the last of the special world and got everything from those. Nice little reward you can get in the special world is that you, in the game, you can collect standees. And standees have an important part in the online features of the game, which we haven't talked about yet. This is one of the first Mario games that you can really enjoy online with other people. You can join a friend if you wanted to and, partake in their adventures. Or if you turn on the online mode, you'll see other ghosts running around the world with you. And these ghosts can be of great benefit because if you lose your like small Mario or if you fall in a pit, you have a little ghost character that you can then run and touch one of the other like players that are on the map at the same time with you, and they will revive you. Now, if there are no players around, they could possibly have left a standee, which is a cool little caricature of whoever you're playing, and it comes in like different form. I think each character has 12 standees in total, and you can touch the standee, and that also will revive your character. So it helps alleviate the challenge of some of these levels if you actually turn on the online mode, and no one can invade your game or anything like that. So it's just kind of neat to see what other people are doing. You may be able to see their ghosts do like jump into a particular area and realize that there is a secret in that. And there are plenty of secrets in this game to check out. The wonder areas are crazy. Like you guys mentioned a few, there are a hell of a lot more. Like each one is very unique on its own. And there's some really, really cool looking wonder worlds out there. So yeah, I highly recommend trying to get them all.
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of put your perspective on it, because when I played like the first 2 levels, I'm like, this is too easy. People are going to hate this. But then I realized, it's what a traditional Mario experience is easy to play, difficult to master.
Yes.
Yes.
Like
So.
you can get away with like maybe playing half these levels. And what's cool is the fact that they give you choice in which levels you want to. Like there are some required ones, but sometimes the field will open up and then you just kind of take your pick
Yep.
of what you want to gather the seeds you need to be able to go into the castle world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, like you have to manage your wallet basically.
Yeah, but it's a great game. Like I imagine playing with your son. Like, no, you only have one of these games, right?
Yeah, just
So
one. So we
you
just
can't actually. You and I need to get together and try out the multiplayer, see how that actually works. Like one by one,
yeah.
like playing together, see if we can get into each other's way or if it benefits like some of the other games do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but overall, I love the game. I love how crazy it is. It's like the game starts off with Bowser turning himself into a castle, and I instantly got like this Rick and Morty thought, like, "Hey, look at me, Morty! I'm a castle."
Like what? That's the most even for a Mario game, that's the most bonkers shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, at first I'm like, "Oh, there's the flying Bowser castle," but then when the castle starts talking, it's like, "Wait a minute, that is Bowser! What the?" It's
I'm like, does he want to cosplay? Like, what's the deal?
I feel like this game was purposely created to make people aware just the effects that mushrooms can have on people.
Yeah,
This game is what happens when you get Miyamoto mushrooms, and I like it.
Miyamoto's always been on mushrooms. What are you talking about, man?
Yeah, where do you think Pikmin came from?
Listen to how he conceptualized Legend of Zelda. Come on, I was like, what's this dude on?
Yeah, well, he found something else now. Maybe it's a flower, and that's why flowers are like the primary theme here, the Flower Kingdom.
Did you guys ever hear the story about when Star Fox for Super Nintendo was being developed? So the team that made it was like the first team to ever, like the first outside team to ever work inside of Nintendo's headquarters, but they were shoved in like this small closet or whatever, pretty much.
Oh, was that
And
Miyamoto's?
It was Miyamoto's smoking room, so he could go smoke.
I had heard that story.
Oh man, they also got Star Fox running on the Game Boy at one point, but they never put it out.
Oh, I would have loved
really
that.
Crazy.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I have like 3 more levels left in Mario, and I have to imagine there's something after, because I'm still missing 5 badges in this game, and I've literally bought everything in every shop, hit every single level, and so I don't know where these 5 badges are going to come from.
Better get on it, Pat.
I know I've got 100% it. So Other than that, I did pick up the new Spider-Man game, and
Which one?
the new one, the second one, the Spider-Man 2 got one.
Huh.
Yep. And this game reminds me why I fell in love with Spider-Man 2018. It's a perfect combination of open world action, exploration. It does a great job telling an absolutely beautiful story with some of these characters. Like even the side missions. I played a side mission called "Where's My Grandpa," which is like a weird side missions title, but like you're just this lady asks you, "Hey, I lost track of my grandfather. Can you please find him?" And like that has got to. I was almost in tears by the end of the mission. Not that like anything happened to the grandpa, but like you find the grandpa and you sit down and he's telling you the story of how like he proposed to his wife who is now deceased, and it's just this like he's having this conversation with Spider-Man. It's like, Spider-Man, have you ever been in love? And you know, Spider like it's just this heartfelt personal
Oh,
conversation between Spider-Man, this old man, on a park bench overlooking a pond. And it's like, you know, if you tried
I,
this with
I
games back in the day, it's like people would have just been like, what is this? But it works so well in this game.
I think every Spider-Man game has had that because like in the first Spider-Man game, like it was when you find all those pigeons, like
Hmm.
the guy
Yeah.
you're rescuing the pigeons for, he had like this sad story about like his wife passing away from cancer and all this stuff, and so like all of a sudden it's like like it was like okay, this NPC that we're just I'm just here getting skill points. All of a sudden, like I'm getting told his life story and stuff, and the bodega owner in Miles Morales, like he has like an interesting story, and you rescue his cat, and then his cat becomes your sidekick.
Yep. I love Spider Cat. I'm hoping Spider Cat makes an appearance here in this game.
I love the Spider Cat finisher. Oh my god.
Hmm. Yeah. But the game opens up super strong. The tutorial mission is action packed, and it's like just one of the coolest ways to just open up a game. The gameplay is very solid. Most of the time, you can switch between the two Spider-Mans on a fly just by opening up the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app and holding down the square button. And you get to switch between Peter and Miles. And each one is very unique, with Miles having his electric powers, and then Peter stands more with his with more technology of his Spider-Man. Let's see, what else can I say about this game?
Is there a Venom specific, like the Black Suit Spider-Man specific skill tree?
I think there are supposed to be some specific things to Venom. I have not gotten the symbiote yet or seen anything about the symbiote. Right now, the story's been more focused on Craven,
Mhm.
and he's Craven's definitely establishing his dominance in the city.
Hmm.
Um, there are definitely a lot of returning characters. In terms of whether or not you need to play the original games, the game does do a nice recap of Miles Morales and the original Spider-Man game. Not so much the DLC, but I will say characters from all three of them do appear back, from former villains to uh, specific event callbacks to even the DLC packet. So that's definitely that's a cool throwback. I feel like you don't need to necessarily know what happened in this game to still fully enjoy number two. But it definitely helps with like the overall story arch. But for the most part, the story is separate. Um, let's see.
Yeah, I imagine all you would really need to know is that like Miles had, like just got his powers in the first one or whatever, and like some of the key moments, right? I would
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah, and like I said, the recap tells you about that too. Like the recap's done very nicely, where Peter and Miles just kind of tells a little bit about their story,
Mhm.
um, without like it does hit like one of the big heavy store spoilers at the end of the first one, but that's kind of
Mhm.
important continuing on into the second one when a certain character is no longer there.
Yeah.
But overall, they've been superheroing now for a couple months, so they're both pretty established in the city, and it's kind of I feel like the theme of this game is balance. How to hold your superhero and your personal life, and be able to kind of like balance those without one getting in the way of the other. So overall, I have very much enjoyed this game, and I look forward to more as I play it after I beat Mario. Yeah.
Nice. Well, anybody else have anything to say before we move on to our topic?
Nope.
Great. All right. So our topic is kind of based around AA games and kind of that space in between indie and AAA. And it's really hard to kind of define AA games these days because you can definitely tell what an indie game is, and you can definitely tell what a AAA game is. But that space in between, the AA space is really hard to define. I think, I mean, I found out today that like not everybody even knows that terminology exists. So, the official definition of AA games are are mid market video games that typically have some type of professional development through typically outside of the large first party studios and major developers. They could be anything from an indie game with like a financial backer. They could be, something like Ukulele, or something that we talked about a little bit before, like Darksiders and Immortals of Avium that just came out and kind of flopped. EA originals are considered AA games. Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice is considered a AA game. The smaller experiences, Control would be one, because of its budget and the way they reuse assets and everything. So, AA games. How do we feel about AA games, in particular? Pat, I'm going to go your way first.
Well, it's really hard to describe a AA game. We almost got into a fight about this before the podcast even started because
Who's fighting?
We're all fighting.
Fuck
we
you.
have different of opinions. Go eat dick or something. I don't know.
Woo!
Delicious.
Delicious spotted dick from England.
Yikes.
Yep. Never had it. Anyways, because I don't fully agree that indie games qualify as an A, like a AA, I guess. I feel like indie is its own separate title, but I'm not saying that indies are bad, because obviously there are indies that are even better than AAA games out there. I feel like AA may definitely fall in line with like the developer or the publisher and the funding towards the game. Like maybe some publishers that have various developers under their wing, like Rare could possibly be a AA title. Like their games could possibly be AA, where they don't quite have the funding as a first party Microsoft, but they still get funding from Microsoft to make their games, like Sea of Thieves. And
Rare's owned by Microsoft, though.
I know, but it's not a Microsoft first party title.
It is.
Well, okay, let's first party studio. Microsoft, I guess, doesn't really have a first party studio because they're just the publisher. But Sony has a first party studio. Nintendo has several first party studios, but then you have they also have not first party studios such as Bungie, who was their own studio but are financed by Sony. So I would consider, a lesser degree with or smaller budget of those like secondary developers under a first party could be considered like double A, or maybe someone under EA could be a double A publisher if they were like provided as much funding to make like a triple A title.
So before I move on to LaRon, here I found 25 games that are considered double A games. You can disagree, you cannot disagree, but I'm going to read them anyway. Ace Combat 7, A Way Out, Dead by Daylight, Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2, Control, The Outer Worlds, A Plague Tale: Innocence, The Ascent, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, in the Metro game series. Also, Cuphead, Overcooked 2 because they have a publisher. It Takes Two, State of Decay, Life is Strange. Why is A Way Out on here twice? I don't know. But those are all considered
to beat A Way Out. Therefore, you need two separate games. No, technically, you only need one in a friend code. Never mind.
True. Hades and Sifu are all described as double A games. Now, I know a lot of people think Hades is an indie game, but it was actually funded and published by Take-Two Interactive and Private Division, which I didn't know.
Okay. That I could see. I feel like, if an indie title gets funded by a bigger company, that could technically qualify as a double A.
Yeah. I mean, I know stuff like publishers like Devolver Digital and Team 17 and Atari are, consider themselves indie game publishers. And I think that most of that is true. I also think, indie games don't always have to be, considered quote unquote indie. You can have an independent double A game, right?
Right. I think what kind of makes the conversation challenging is because I think indie in itself, that definition has kind of become more convoluted and blended, at least in the community when they talk, right? Because when did indie really become a thing in games? Like right when, like, early 2010s, maybe?
I would say whenever
Shovel
like
Knight
Away
No.
home, was it
big
Away
one.
Home or something?
I would actually say like the mid 360 cycle with Braid and Castle Crashers
True.
and
Walking Dead.
My very first encounter of an indie game was Bastion.
yeah,
Mm.
Bastion 2.
Okay.
Bastion's a great game.
Because I feel like
Yeah, it is.
nowadays many developers or games will consider themselves indie, even if they have a little bit more financial backing, which would then blend into the double A. But maybe because I don't know, it's kind of got that. Well, when you say indie game, right, you think a little bit more edgy, or I don't know. I just think of your typical like hipster trying to say like, well, we've got something different and more. I don't know.
We got
thinking out-
voxels, man. Voxels.
See, like for me, I feel like people say that like an indie, when they use the term indie nowadays, it's such a hot buzzword that they want to,
Yeah.
That'll get them attention, even if they're not really an indie game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mhm.
Yeah, something that I would consider like a real indie game would be something like a team of like 3 or 4 people. I think Stardew Valley is actually the perfect example of an indie game. One guy made it. I know Chucklefish published it on PC for a little while, but he pulled out of that contract and he's doing all the publishing himself now. And his new game is also incredibly indie. The Haunted Chocolate Factory or something. Yeah, that one. Which looks pretty cool.
When is that game coming out?
Stuff like Hybraxia and Super Perils of Baking are incredibly indie because those teams are 4-5 people. They use Game Maker.
Don't forget Hollow Knight. Team Chariot 3.
I don't count that game. It's not a real game.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Tell us how you really feel.
I fucking hate that game.
I know we made it known
You
in
know what? Team
Nintendo
Chariot
Powerball.
fucking hates you too.
You told me to say how I felt about the game. I'm just answering your question, your direct question.
It's
aimed at
okay.
me.
I'm not. It's not like I'm a big Hollow Knight defender. If anything, like I'm sure
No.
it's a great game, but I think it's. I don't know. It feels like it's just way overrated. Just
Yes.
how foaming at the mouth these fans can be.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I said that kind of jokingly. I realize it's a decent game, but it's not for me. It's
Yeah.
just a style game that's not for me. But I do agree with you that it's a little bit overrated since that game was out and it didn't get popular till after it came out on Switch, like a year or two later.
Well, here's example of like
which is most indie games.
truer indie games, like who that guy behind Animal Well, not Animal Well, Underwell, something well.
Undertale.
No, it's the guy that's been at PAX, and he's taken like years to make. No, I'm gonna figure it out. Ends with
Deltarune?
well. I think it's Animal Well.
Downwell?
No.
Deltarune is the same as Toby Fox. It's
I know.
Undertale.
But also Smooshy, the guy who made Smooshy Come Home. One dude.
Humble
Yeah, no, it's all Animal Well. I just forgot the guy's name. Oh, I'm sorry. It's one dude, and he's like making this really intricate game, and I don't even know when it's going to come out. Anyway, those are just current ideas. Current.
Yeah. But also, like, I think a lot of people think of indie games as like the pixelated kind of retro style games.
Retro or low budget.
Yeah, I would say even up until recently, maybe like a couple years ago, and then like some they've made things like Unity and Unreal very beginner friendly at this point, to where like you can have a team of 5 or 6 people develop a game in Unreal, and it would be like, oh man, what's the game? What's that JRPG that was just put out on Game Pass? Well, I guess a year ago on Game Pass. That was
Chained Echoes.
No, Eternity or something. But that game was originally developed by one guy, and then he hired people when he got funding. And that game looks like a mid Xbox 360 JRPG developed by like 75 people with a big budget, right? And
very reminiscent of Star Ocean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. I just LeRon, you haven't chimed in yet.
Yeah. You were like, well, before I let LeRon talk,
we don't like you. We just kidding. We love you.
Okay, so honestly, for me to answer this question, yes, there's a space for AA games. As a matter of fact, and I'm gonna sound so cliche here. I'm gonna sound like a freaking like political slogan. Like AA games matter. I'm gonna be serious, because like if we look at like the development cycle for AAA games, like there aren't enough like A games or indie games to like keep us satisfied while we're waiting for Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Wonder, Dead Space Remake, Last of Us Part 3. There's not enough filler games out there to keep us like heavily motivated and interested and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now I think where AA games get into problems with is that sometimes their scope is what kind of kills them. Mm-hmm. Perfect example, City Skylines 2 that I just talked about. Mm-hmm. Like, this is not a AAA title. Like, this is not a AAA title like say SimCity was. SimCity used to be a AAA like franchise, and now it's dead. Mm-hmm. City Skylines, like, I'm not sure what their scope was. Yeah, of course, try to build a game that's better than the last game that came out. It's not worth being called a sequel if it's more of the same, even though technically a sim game is more of the same. So like, why were they trying to build a better mousetrap to the point where they had to indefinitely delay console versions? The PC version runs like I'm not even gonna say mediocre. Mediocre is being nice, but that's something to be said. But yeah, like we need games like Darksiders Genesis, Dead Island, we need those types of games and stuff like that, because like without that, there wouldn't honestly be a games industry. in all honesty, because like we'd be waiting too long for all these big budget games, these AAA titles that like cost like millions, if not billions of dollars, in research and development and actual development and Q&A and all that stuff. Like it's got to be something,
Mhm.
and also, I've been wanting to make this a topic, and I feel like this should be a topic real soon here. Like like why do we put all of our chips in like Square Enix, EA, Naughty Dog,
Mhm.
Santa Monica Studios? Why do we put all of our chips in like these big name, like developers and stuff like that, to the point where it's like they're almost monolithic, to the point where like they're too big to fail, and when they do fail, like look at CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk and stuff like that, they become public enemy number one, stuff like that. Like, why do we do this? Why do we put this much pressure on these companies to where like they feel that they cannot fail?
Yeah.
They're established. It's the safe bet. They made
everybody's established though. Remedy's established. Quantic Dreams is established. Like all the studios under Annapurna are established, except for the people who are just coming out next week.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like all these people are established. I feel like you're established in the video game sphere. I feel like you're established once you have 2 games under your belt that are published.
Yeah, but what if those 2 games aren't good?
Then your studio
doesn't
at this point.
Yeah. At this point, we're at a very vicious cycle now, where it's like the snake is eating itself at the tail.
Yeah.
Do you feel like? Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you feel like categorization like this? I mean, not that this is going to change the industry, nor is it necessarily a bad thing, but the category of AA can kind of hurt in a sense indirectly, because people do love to polarize things, and they're either all in for these AAA titles, or they need to be cool and quirky and indie. Where, honestly, when Corey, you list off examples of what's technically considered a AA,
mm-hmm.
are really the meat and potatoes of what gamers are enjoying. They're either mistaken for indies or whatnot. And so I'm not saying if someone goes, hey, there's this AA game I recommend, maybe they might not necessarily not buy it, but it just sometimes I feel like sometimes the categorization doesn't help them so much. So that's why I've never really kind of liked using it.
Yeah.
No, I'm picking up exactly what you're putting down here, because like in all seriousness, like, okay, first of all, you gotta be a special kind of asshole if all you're playing is Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA, Forza, Halo. You've got, if those are the only games in your library, I don't think I can't take you seriously as a gamer.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with that, and you can call me elitist or whatnot and stuff like that.
The alpha chads are coming for you.
Ooh.
Hey, let the Xbots come, the Sony ponies, the Master Racers and all that stuff. Because I know some people, all they do is they build a PC just so they can play fucking like Overwatch or fucking StarCraft or whatnot. What I'm saying is, like, you're a bland ass gamer if the only thing you're playing is like the same franchise title that comes out year after year, and before anyone can say, oh well, you played 20 years worth of Monster Hunter games. Yeah, but do you see the entire backlog of shit that I have that I at least turn on and start to play?
Yeah.
No, I'm glad you said it, because I'm the last person to want to claim I'm elitist, but at least when it comes to, I'm so mean to children. When one of my kids' best friends, like, he was so proud of himself, like he's cool or something. I think he just turned 8. He goes, I got Fortnite. I'm like, all right, cool. Let me know when you play real games.
Oh, that's dirty.
Side note, like, I'm sure Fortnite as itself, the business model, clearly its success, I am not saying in a vacuum it is a bad game, but when someone's like, I'm a gamer because I play Fortnite, I'm like, okay, keep walking. I should probably be nicer to children.
I mean, technically you are a gamer, but you're like not the 1%er, so you're the opposite. You're the 99%.
Yeah, more like that. And that's when I actually do feel bad. I'm like, have I become the elitist or someone who thinks they're elitist. Oh man.
I think everybody's just tired of hearing about Fortnite for the last 6 or 7 years. I mean,
Yeah.
to be fair, Fortnite.
Well, I think Epic's started hearing about Fortnite now. They are like hemorrhaging money because of it.
well, it's not because of Fortnite. Fortnite's the thing that's making them money. It's their their investment in their engine and trying to run that store at a catastrophic loss, and making deals with these games and everything. But to be fair to Fortnite, it's actually a pretty fun game if you go into no build mode, and
like I said, in a vacuum, it is a good
Yeah.
game. It pisses me off when kids learn these stupid dances that I am forced to look at because that stupid game. Anyway.
NFL players are doing the Fortnite dances in like when they score touchdowns and stuff now instead of making up their own.
Hate it. Let's go. Move along. I'm getting off topic.
Yeah.
I'm getting on my angry.
So
Angry.
back on topic, I actually think ironically, the first party, except for maybe recent Sony, but I actually think PS4 era Sony did a great job in the AA space with stuff like Concrete Genie, and I would argue something like The Last Guardian and Gravity Rush. Nintendo does a great job in the AA space with stuff like all the Kirby trash that comes out, and Yoshi's Crafted World, and
Listen to that elite gamer talking right there.
Kirby's trash.
Yoshi's Crafted World is a top-notch platformer.
It is, but I wouldn't consider it AAA.
Y'all are spouting lies, and the only reason why I am discounting that game is because Yoshi is the most aggravating character in the Super Mario universe.
Kirby begs to differ.
Kirby's not Super Mario.
Doesn't matter. Kirby still exists.
Anyways, can we get the Kirby power up for Super Mario Wonder?
And then they're also doing a great job putting out AA games. Like I think I would consider that Princess Peach game that's coming out probably AA. The Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake probably didn't cost very much, right? The Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, see the problem is though, like they're considered AAA because like number one, the name brand alone, like ratchets it up,
Well,
and it's one of those situations. I guarantee you, if those games don't sell well when the Switch 2 comes out, Nintendo's going to repackage those, as Switch 2 games, and sell them for full fucking price.
Yeah, but
they're gonna be like, we released it when the system was on its way out, so no one really took it seriously. So here, we're gonna throw it at your asses again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think Nintendo thinks all of their games are AAA, which is why they all cost $60 and $70. But anything from Zelda to like Mario vs. Donkey Kong and Mario Party, like they're all considered the same by Nintendo. I think
Nintendo knows.
But it's not.
Nintendo knows where they got my ass though, because like, Mario vs. Donkey Kong remake, LeBron will buy that shit.
Dude, that game's fucking amazing.
Mario RPG remake, LeBron will buy that shit.
Yeah.
When is Paper Mario for the Nintendo 64 getting remade? When is that happening? Because that's another free paycheck for them, for me.
Yeah, and I would argue this generation that AA games are all Microsoft has put out except for Halo, and then the recent Forza games. And
I can agree with you on that. I can agree with you.
Well, I mean, like Psychonauts is not a $200 million game. Pentiment's not a $200 million game. Like Pentiment probably cost them $2 million to make.
Do you feel that the fact that they're AA games kind of puts them in an awkward position when it comes to like Game Awards stuff? Just to kind of loop back when you mentioned, did we conclude if Stray is technically more of a AA because of Annapurna and whatever?
Yeah.
So like that's an example. Like Stray is not big enough to be honestly game of the year because that nine times out of 10, not always. Remember, I think It Takes Two won, but it goes to a AAA game. But then everything else gets funneled to the indie category, and this goes back to where I said indie these days can really apply to so much.
Yeah, I mean I would actually say if they're going to do best indie this year, Stray would fall into that category, even though it's, published by a smaller publisher. Anything from Devolver or Annapurna will probably fall into indie. Team 17.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
It would be interesting. I think I do think that the game of the year is going to go to a AA title
Mhm.
this year.
For this year?
What double A title?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Hmm.
I want to get that
I would have
game.
said I would have said that until Super Mario Wonder entered the chat.
Yeah. Remember back in May when we all said Zelda had it locked down?
Right?
Yeah.
Now Zelda's like, I don't even know if
Yeah,
it's
it
in my
looks
top
like
3 anymore.
Yeah, you know it's gonna suck if Mario Wonder beats Zelda, like Nintendo's probably gonna kick themselves in the ass about that one.
Maybe, but we all know what's going to happen, at least when it comes to the Game Awards. Mario Wonder is going to win, but it's going to win in the kids, family, whatever the stupid category, because a lot of Nintendo
I don't think so.
Well, this is
What-
just because I don't have a
don't
lot of faith with them, like, treating Nintendo with respect at the Game Awards. Just saying.
because I'm thinking like the golden joysticks are gonna like throw this up there. I'm also thinking what's the one BAFTA.
Oh, sure,
Golden
they.
joysticks,
I'm
BAFTA.
not talking about the Game
IGN.
Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Like, no, they got stupid asses. They're judging and categorizing like certain games, you
Yeah.
know, in these categories and stuff like that.
Speaking of Baldur's
Because
Gate.
like there's
Oh, sorry.
oh no, I'm just saying there's no fucking way like you know like every fucking Nintendo game that they had in that list was a fucking family game.
Yeah.
I would also argue that like I don't know if Baldur's Gate has been played by enough people like that would vote for something like that. You know, I mean, I know it's in the top
by
on
the
s-
judges, and that's
I
really
know.
what's going to matter.
Well,
I know.
here's what. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say
Go ahead.
like it didn't even chart in the top 20 for PlayStation games according to whatever the MPD group is called because it came out on PlayStation a couple weeks ago or something.
Yeah, it also came out on PC, where the majority of that kind of gamer is.
Here's where I
I
think
know, I'm just
Baldur's
saying,
Gate is gonna.
I think it's too niche to win. I think they want to go bigger, something like.
No, I think it's because it's niche. It's going to win.
I was about to say I disagree with you, Corey. And the main reason why I'm also thinking that Baldur's Gate has probably like wormed its way into the game of the year standing is because like it's the first game that forced Microsoft to do some type of adjustment for the Xbox Series S.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's like gonna win. I mean, I think it's gonna be in the conversation for sure. I just, I don't know.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Okay, I didn't say it was going to win either. I don't think. I do not think a fancy game is going to win Game of the Year this year. I don't think so. Like Elden Ring deserved it.
Mhm.
Elden Ring deserved it. I will say that, but I don't think fantasy game 2 years in a row. Nope. Final Fantasy 16. I'm sorry.
I know
don't
it's
have
not going to
to-
be Final
Baldur's
Fantasy
Gate.
16, but I still think Baldur's Gate is different enough that it's going to go for it. People are going to be like, look
you
at
gotta
this.
remember-
This game
you
has
gotta
complete
remember-
freedom in an RPG.
I don't think so because you got to remember like so depending on what award show it is, like gamers only count for 1% of the vote at Game Awards. Gamers don't even apply in BAFTAs and Golden Joystick. Well, actually, no. Gamers have a bigger stake in the Golden Joystick than they do in BAFTA and Game Awards combined.
But also, Baldur's Gate had like the top has like a lot of 10 reviews. Isn't it still like one of the higher rated games this year right now?
Yeah, but there
Let's find out.
was a game last year that was rated like a 96 and wasn't even considered in the conversation.
What game
Also,
was that?
like I don't remember what it was. I just remember that was a conversation.
All right, Baldur's Gate sits at a 96 right now on Metacritic.
Yeah, 96.
That's pretty good.
Isn't that like the top one? I think here this year.
I think it's up there with stuff like Zelda and.
Well, shit. If we're being honest, it's tied with Elden Ring. It's got the same exact score Elden Ring had
Mm-hmm.
on Metacritic. Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. And 2 points above The Witcher 3. So
It's got the same score as Tears of the Kingdom.
It's gonna be a close one, folks.
Yep.
didn't reach Disco Elysium at 97 though. That was another one that didn't that one win a game of the year?
Yeah.
Yep. Same type of
Well,
game.
they no longer exist anymore because of political reasons. So,
hmm But yeah, same
international
type of game.
political reasons. Oh man, that studio, man, there's some fucking weird people.
Super Mario Wonder has a 93.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, I don't think Wonder's gonna win. They want something that's big and flashy. I don't think Mario's flashy enough. to be
Oh, I
honest.
forgot. Armored Core 6.
Nobody played Armor Core.
Damn.
Yeah,
It's got
Armored Core.
86.
Armored Core.
Damn.
I doubt will even hit the Game of the Year.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's probably gonna contend in the shit. I had to think. Whatever one of those
Probably
categories
action.
are.
Let's
Maybe now's the time to start really like taking the bossies serious.
Telling you, man,
I
we're at
texted you about it the other day, and you were like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been
sure.
busy, Corey. Let's set aside some time next week because I'm gonna be out of town this weekend.
you blink and it's the
Actually,
end
no.
of October.
Actually, football Sunday. Let's do it because Sunday I'm not gonna be doing much. I will be out of town, but I'm not gonna be doing much. I said football Sunday because I know you have a Browns game to watch. I know you do.
at 4:00 because we play the fucking Seahawks.
Play who?
The Seahawks.
Oh yeah, I got that. Yeah, I got that.
I don't think so. With our third string quarterback and our practice squad running backs, I don't think so.
Hey, like that Ellie Goulding song. Anything can happen.
All right, real quick.
You know what I loved is that we had we had a very seamless transition from our AA games to our debating of best year.
Yeah.
Oh no, best year game. I was saying best game of the year. Never mind.
I'm gonna read Paul Tassie's most likely nominees for Game of the Year award from Forbes.
Oh God. Oh, now we're really about to fight.
I really like Paul Tassi. I think he has some, we'll say, interesting opinions sometimes, but I really only follow him for his Destiny stuff. So most likely, hold comments until I'm done because I already feel this first one. There's going to be some eye rollings and some snickers. So Starfield.
Okay.
I don't think Starfield is.
Hold on, you said hold comments.
I did. I'm telling you.
You're making a comment.
I'm reading the list.
No, he's allowed to do it because he's the host.
Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Sea of Stars, and Armored Core 6 are the number of games he's chosen.
Interesting. Okay, I'd say I agree
Diablo
with
4
most.
on there? Didn't people love Diablo 4?
I love Diablo 4.
I thought people
Okay,
were,
after hearing that guy's list, if I were to use that guy's list, Resident Evil 4 is going to take the big prize.
That guy made a safe list.
Yeah, he did.
Mhm.
He did.
And, Diablo
Jedi
4.
Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor on there? Tisk.
Yeah, Jedi Survivor is on the golden joysticks.
Yeah.
How?
It is. Go
That
ahead.
game-
You can
So is
actually
Alan
vote
Wake
for.
2, so I don't really trust them.
Wait, a game that's not even out yet is already on the list?
Yeah.
Yep.
Sam Lake got his knee pads out and started going to work.
My question about Jedi Survivor is how is that making the list when like the game came out broken?
I don't know. It runs great now.
Yes.
Yeah, it runs great now. Yeah.
They patched it as soon as I beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally 2 days later.
I need to get back into that one. I also need to finish Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, Man, Hi-Fi Rush was really good
It was.
for the 3 levels I played it.
Agreed.
I still want to go back and finish it, but Spider-Man awaits.
Yeah, that's more important.
Does anybody have anything else to say about any of this stuff?
It was a good, healthy discussion.
Because I see an After Dark in our future.
Yeah.
So, well, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of the Boss Rush Podcast. You can check out our website, check out our social media stuff, our family of podcasts, including After Dark and Video Game Book Club for this series of podcasts. Stephanie, LaRon, Pat, thanks for your time tonight as always. Thank you out there for watching or listening. Until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushMedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support.